The movie Pokemon Coco has been delayed, but what does this mean for everything else in Pokemon? Hey, this is GatorEX, and yes, unfortunately and predictably, the movie Pokemon Coco has been delayed. It was originally meant to be released over in Japan, at least, July 10th, and very likely we would be getting it later in the US over here, through whatever means, I guess. But the interesting thing, of course, the delay is predictable, right? And again, stuff like this, it's unfortunate that a lot of stuff is getting delayed, but again, it's for the betterment of everyone else. It's for the purpose of everybody staying safe, basically. As in more populated areas, the current situation is a little more significant, is worse. In Japan, a while ago, they had declared a state of emergency. I don't know the specifics of what's going on there now, but very obviously, the movie theaters aren't going to reopen by July, which is a minor aspect of what's going on. Certain here in California, at least, certain businesses were gonna try to reopen this week. However, they're discussing in LA County, specifically, again, the more populated area, of potentially extending stay-at-home orders up to 3 more months. So. It just makes sense. And again, it's for the safety of everybody to prevent spread of illness. But it is unfortunate that as like a secondary, not even secondary, like third, fourth, fifth thing, that entertainment like this, suffers. But for one thing, the movie, right? The movie obviously is going to be featuring the brand new Pokemon Zarude, which was going to be distributed, very obviously, alongside the movie, which is, typically what happens. Japan would get it probably July 10th, and then we'd probably end up getting it sometime, maybe in November, whenever the movie would have come out. Whether the movie would get a theatrical distribution or whether it would just be put straight to Netflix, like the recent Pokemon movie, things like that. But interesting thing, with Mewtwo, right, last year, we all got it in Pokemon Go around July-ish or in the summertime. So that's interesting. So whether we would get Zarude all together at the same time. But, everything has kind of been thrown out of whack. Everything just lined up very perfectly originally, right, as they intended. We would get Isle of Armor expansion in June, movie would come out July, and very likely Zarude would be implemented into the game through the Isle of Armor DLC in June, and then just easy distribution in July over in Japan. Easy peasy stuff like that, but unfortunately it's not going to work out like that. The movie itself, though, that one makes more sense to be delayed. But again, it's a movie theater thing, gathering of people, prevent the spread, delay that. The Isle of Armor very likely is still set to come out. We don't know the exact situation of production on Pokemon's end, again, with the anime being delayed with the games. So far, there's been no announcement of games being delayed, but, and I would not expect it to be. Isle of Armor, it seemed like, was a good way done, so we currently still have no word on whether Isle of Armor is being delayed, but very likely we're still going to be getting Isle of Armor DLC in June. Zarude distribution, that is all up in the air now. Whether we'll get that, I don't know, because, it was meant to tie in with the movie. However, I think because of the situation, I don't think they would want to hold off on Zarude, because I think that that's I think Zarude is potentially ready to be implemented. The game was just waiting on the movie release in order for everything to tie in. But, who really knows? Now, the interesting thing, though, Pokemon has been very buddy-buddy with Netflix recently. So the movie, right, at least for the US distribution, I was expecting it to potentially just be dumped on the Netflix instead of getting a theatrical release here in the US. Very likely that's probably what's going to happen. Other movies recently, some of the animated movies can afford to be released digitally, while a bunch of the bigger live-action movies are just being postponed until next year. The Pokemon anime, I do not think that's gonna happen, because the Pokemon anime, right, over in Japan, it gets released in theaters, it gets those box office sales, and it does pretty well over there. Well, here in the US, the theatrical distribution is a little less significant, and with the recent movie, I think it probably just made more sense overall to make the money through licensing it to Netflix, here in the US at least. So I don't expect it to be put onto Japanese Netflix this month instead. Because again, Pokemon, the movies do better there theatrically. So, and I don't know how things are with Pokemon and Japanese Netflix. Here in the US, at the very least, Pokemon and Netflix are pretty buddy-buddy. Again, you know, with the recent Pokemon Journeys, in the US, it's being released in Netflix. While in other countries, you know, Canada, UK, it's going to air on television over there. So, it's interesting. But I mean, at the very least, I'd expect Pokemon Coco to, at least by February of 2021, to be on Netflix in the US. That's all I can say realistically. But, you know, whether Zarude is going to be released, that's still up in the air. It would make sense, and it would be very nice if they remove the connection between the movie and the games a little more, you know, because, you know, it would be nice for Zarude to remain on schedule. Again, you know, Isle of Armor is probably going to remain on schedule, will be released next month in June, yay, which would be nice. The movie's just in limbo again because it's a public thing. It kind of has to release in the theaters over in Japan at least, and that, you know, that's something else. Zarude, they could change that to a Wi-Fi distribution, and it's sometime in July, and make it worldwide, hopefully. But like, that's the ideal situation. Whether that'll happen, I have no idea. Because the movie, at this point, the movie is just going to be up in the air for basically forever until at least next year, potentially. Unfortunately, because that's just how movies are right now. You know, until everybody maybe decides to shift over into, you know, streaming services, you know, licensing it to streaming services for, you know, for people's entertainment here, I guess. That is the unfortunate thing, that Zarude has to be tied to the movie, and so Zarude's distribution is going to be tied to the movie, very likely. But Isle of Armor, so far, it seems like it's still going to happen in June. You know, that is the unfortunate thing. I don't know if Crown Tundra is going to be, like, at this point, we just really do not know a lot of, you know, production-wise, and what's going to get released this year. So, you know, that's at least my thoughts of what could potentially happen. Of course, it's all an unfortunate byproduct of what's going on. Again, you know, this isn't the main focus. Entertainment is like, takes like a backseat to everybody's health, obviously. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Currently, this is what I think is happening. I think in June, we're still getting Isle of Armor. It would be ideal if we still get a worldwide Wi-Fi distribution for Zarude sometime in July to alleviate, you know, just to get it out there. And then the movie, you know, hopefully if things are better by November, it could get a November release, at least in Japan. And then here in the US, I'm still expecting it to just go straight to Netflix, because very likely that's how the situation is for the Pokemon anime, at least here in the US. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you excited for Isle of Armor? Because hopefully that's still going to go according to plan. And that's going to be fun if that comes out next month. And, you know, when it comes out. I'm not saying if, say when. Because it's been planned, they haven't delayed it or anything. But that'll definitely be fun to just chill out for a bit. But anyway, if you enjoyed the content, leave a like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. If you enjoyed the content, remember to enable notifications. I just tripped up. But click that bell icon, it'll make sure you see each new video as it comes out. Anyway, this has been GatorEX. Have a nice day.